Well, this morning before play got underway at the Gabba, a 1 minute silence for the Australian players wearing black armbands. Sam Loxton passing away overnight. Jim, for the younger followers of the cricket, who is Sam Loxton?
Well, I didn't see him play, but I heard a lot about him, and from Sam himself. He spoke a lot about what he did, although he was inclined to talk a lot more about his great friend, George, that is Bradman, who he called George, because that was one of his Christian names, of course. But I remember him more as a character around the game when he was a selector, because it was Loxton, Harvey and Bradman who were on the panel when they made the momentous decision to sack Bill Lawry and appoint Ian Chappell. And, you know, the story always was that Sam and Neil got together and ganged up on Bradman to make the call, because you have to remember in those days, Bradman was an omnipotent force in Australian cricket. I mean, no one really took him on. So, yeah, Sammy, although he had a good relationship with Bradman, I think he could get a point across, which of course he did in many ways in his political life. He was involved in state politics in Victoria. I'm pretty sure he was the Speaker for quite a while in the Victorian Parliament. But as a player, he was a sort of cricketer you'd love to watch today, because he took the bowling on. I think to Headingley in 48 he got out in the first innings of that game for 93, trying to hit a 6 to get close to 100. And he eventually got 100 in a test match in South Africa. But he bowled, you know, sort of fast, medium stuff, moved the ball around, whatever. And he just became, in later years, beyond the time of being a selector, a figure you went to when you're at a cricket ground if you wanted to have a chat about the game. I mean, he always had very strong opinions about players, and I'm sure as a selector he told a few of the players. I gather he had some fairly strong words to Greg Chappell after the underarm incident. He was one of the first people in the room. And by then Greg had already had his head down, I think, was aware of his admiration. But Sammy was a great character. He ended up late in life being an umpire, and they say the over rate was appalling because he consistently gave advice to bowlers about what they should be doing. So, you know, we lost one of the personalities of the game. Australia's oldest living Test cricketer up until the time of his death. That mantle passes to another distinguished Australian, Arthur Morris, who's 89 years of age. But Sammy will be much missed, because he was one of those people who was just so passionate about the game. And if we had a bit of rain-stop play, you'd want to get him on the air, because he'd fill half an hour. And I know how he'd fill half an hour. I'd just say, George, and he'd talk about Bradman for half an hour. But he could talk about anything, and not just cricket. But that was the thing that really got him going for most of his life.